Our viewers, welcome back. In case you're just joining us, this is The Press. And you've, of course, missed the first segment of the newspaper headlines. But, of course, you're still on time. We've now been joined by Duke Alamboye, policy analyst, for most of the headlines we've just read out to you. And our phone lines will be open for you to call in and make your contributions known. You're welcome, Mr. Duke.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Duke.
Should I say Happy New Year?
Yes, to say that. Safe to say that.
This year.
And of course, very lovely to have
you.
You
are looking very good. It's like the year started very fine.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, you started very fine, but a lot of things have been happening. Yeah. Everywhere. In fact, I don't know how to explain it, but maybe you're not feeling it.
You don't look like it's feeling
Naira notes thing. You're not feeling the Naira redesign scarcity, and you're not feeling the fuel scarcity, because I think you got here a little early. So I'm wondering, did you even?
I had to wake up early to meet up this timing. Yeah, because this timing I know is you can't get it after now.
Okay, have you ever had to actually join the queue to get fuel or cash?
Well, we are struggling to get fuel. It's not a new thing in the country. The cash is what I have.
The cash is really biting hard. Like I've never experienced this before. I've not seen
money for the first 1 month.
You know, it's a different thing when you don't have the money. Yeah. But when you have it and you can't access it, it's really frustrating.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think that's why it's really biting so hard.
That's true.
Now, there's this headline I saw on the Daily Times. It says CBN will not be used to frustrate 2023 election, says Emefiele. And on the Punch newspaper, it says, Naira crisis may disrupt polls. INEC warns Emefiele, NSA. And then the writer is saying, some of our service providers have no bank accounts. Commission laments. The question is, the cashless policy is a beautiful one, you would agree?
Yes, very well.
But at this point, would it be right for INEC to come up and say that some of their service providers don't have bank accounts? Does it mean that there are no other service providers that have bank accounts? That's on the side. And secondly, why is it that the CBN is willing to provide cash for INEC's, use during the election?
I think you've indirectly answered the question with your last submission. But let me take it from this angle first. INEC is an entity, and no service provider that is not registered with CAC
exactly
works with INEC. When they come out to painting this old picture to look so ridiculous, so difficult, it amazes me. I ask myself, are these actually Nigerians? Do they really want this country to go ahead? It's so discrediting when the INEC chairman will come out and say that service providers that works with an entity such as the INEC do not have
bank accounts.
It means that we have to force even the system. For you to provide services for service or whatever have anything to do with INEC as regards service provision, you should or you must have, first of all, been registered. Security wise, you should be free of anything that have to do with insecurity. What are we talking about? It's a no to me. It does not hold any grounds. However, these are two government agencies, the CBN and the state. They will always have a link way to all of this. I'm not relating any of this policy to INEC having difficulties in running this election. So far as I'm concerned, INEC will have everything they require. The policy will not see. Even when you say don't withdraw 10,000, don't withdraw more than 10,000, there is a way you having a relationship with a bank manager or with a bank, you walk into the bank, or with your account officer, you walk into the bank, and sometimes they leverage on relationship. So all these are things that are possibly that will happen within this period. What are the stake of INEC? What do they need to succeed? They approach those factors. They approach them to the CBN governor. They will look into it and make provisions for them. It has no two ways. It has no implication on the election. It baffles me, and I'm not really happy about the way the government agencies, the governors are going about this policy that we all know. Whenever they travel abroad, this is the same policy they lash on. They don't go with money. They go with their cards and do whatever they want to do as long as they are abroad. They see it work very well. They see how effective it has been in developing or developed countries in the world. So why can't we exercise such this thing? Recall that the CBN governor also gave an alarm. Over 3 trillion of our currencies is in circulation that they cannot account for. Nobody is talking about that. It's very, very ridiculous. Nobody is talking about that. How do we get this cash inflow? The scarcity is because people are not releasing the old notes back to the bank. And if you do not release the old note back to the bank, and they issue out such quantity out again, it will cause inflation. It will be a damage, a collateral damage to the economy. Who amongst them amongst the political elites in this country that does not understand this simple language? These monies that we are talking about, is it in your account? Is it in my account? The monies are in the accounts of the politicians. So when you go around to narrow it to ridiculously say it is the masses, yes, the masses are suffering what is happening, but the issue, the problem, bulk of the problem is lying in the hands of, have we not taken our monies to the bank?
But then most of the, sorry to cut you there, most of the masses, well, I would use the example of most of our callers yesterday. Almost every single one of them are saying there is no need for the extension of the deadline.
There is need for the extension. The deadline, for now, the 10th should be sacrosanct. No need to extend it. I agree with that, because the more you are extending it, the extension of that time is anticipation of getting more old notes. Once you are extending it, it means that you're holding back the new currencies as it is today. The implication there is that people will begin still to struggle to getting the new notes. In fact, some part of the country, they don't even, ignorant people do not even want to accept the old note again. Fear of the inability to bank it on time, or fear of losing out the new, having the experience of the new note. So if you put all these factors together, yes, I completely agree, the date should not be shifted. But again, let's look at the constraint. If the date is not shifted and CBN had not received good percentage of back the return of those old notes, what is going to happen? We are also still going to complain. You are seeing that as much as all this is happening, inflation is not really trickling up. The prices of things are not really high, and that is because money is scarce. Immediately money comes in, starts chasing it, you will see that prices of things will get high.
Sure.
This is quite different from the scarcity we are having in fuel. But if you look at it again, it has not affected the power of demand and supply yet. So I agree they shouldn't shift it. If they do, people will still struggle to get the money because they will still hold on to the new currencies. So what I will advise is that they should check quickly what percentage that had come in and release such equivalents to the system, so that it will ease the struggle to getting new currencies.
Do you think they are willing to go by that, as in release the equivalent of what is coming in? Because they are trying to reduce the cash flow. Now, you probably didn't really touch on my second question when I said INEC now, CBN now releasing funds, cash funds to INEC to run through the election. It's not going against their very own policy.
I don't even think there is any transaction that will give that will warrant INEC to release cash.
CBN to release. Okay, INEC
itself.
Studies providers.
Let us INEC should list out those activities that would necessitate them to pay cash. At what point? At what point do INEC pay money to their even the ad hoc staff they use, they do the transfer to them.
Exactly.
So I think that is why I kept saying it's ridiculous relating the electoral process. It's just a connivance.
Well, sorry to cut you short.
Yes.
I would like to read from Daily Trust newspaper.
Yes.
That's coming from page 4. According to INEC, but some of the service providers, especially transporters, are required to be paid in cash. And aside from that, experience has shown that emergencies do arise on election day, which could demand the use of cash by the commission.
That is true. Those are at minimal standards. Let me tell you something. I ran election and I understand this logistics they're talking about. No logistic company that is working directly with INEC that will go and collect cash. We're talking about millions. Logistic company that will provide vehicular movements for INEC materials. They are logistic company. It's not just a random roadside. So what I'm emphasizing that yes, when such monies are paid to those logistics company, they will need at the finishing aspect of delivery, they will need to have cash to purchase fuel. But I also know that they can be contractual too. They can also approach fuel providers and get this engagement done. If they want to get it right, they can say that engaging Total around the country to provide fuel for their vehicles, and that goes. So it's not as tedious, it's not as strict, or it's not as bad as they paint the picture. It is just at the later aspect. I agree. If you come to my state, there are rural areas that are not vehicles cannot go just except with boats. Yes, I agree with you. Dispersing logistics to those boat drivers and everything, but those things are still at the later part that can be managed. They shouldn't use these things to truncate or to affect the electoral processes. There's nothing. Absolutely, I don't agree with this analysis they are trying to give. I feel like even at this point, yes, even those boat drivers, you can as well make bank transfer to them, because I see even the tiniest things that people buy in the marketplaces now, they are able to make bank transfers. We at our age, the youthful age these days, we purchase our airs, our shoes, this, all of that, without even seeing the person that is selling it. So we do online transaction. Okay, I would agree with that we at our youthful age, but you have to agree with me that go to somewhere like Burutu in probably Delta State. Yes. Because I was opportune to serve in Delta State. Yes. Go to somewhere like Burutu in Delta State. Of course, you have to even deal with the issue of network to even access your server to start with. Yes. So how do you actually make transfers to those people there? You agree with me that in some states, rural areas, there's barely network or no network. So even if you are going to have contracts with these people, and then they are going to be going back and forth, there's going to be you have to follow the boat and all that. You would agree with me that there are some instances where they need cash. We are not, the cashless policy is not completely eliminating the use of cash. Let us not take it to the extreme. There's a minimal. So I am sure that there is no transport you want to use that will go above 20,000 naira to buy fuel. What are they doing? What necessarily are they going to fuel? It's not a launch boat. They are just a fiber boats that will help them do all of this. That is where, and this is what we are talking about. The policy is hard now, because we are seeing the elites, the bourgeoisie of this country, that are having the monies stocked in their houses, not releasing it. I know that CBN had make it a little bit tight, because they also anticipate that everybody answers on deck, please. For the 2023 election, everybody is checkmating how it will be better for this country. Even the people that are in this present government, some of them sincere ones in the government, admit that this government did not do well. So they are also even the president is trying to fine-tune his last lap to ensure that he exits with a better election that brought him into power. So one of the disadvantages, one of the evil of election is financial inducement. And some candidates and some parties are very, very prepared to induce this election financially to get power. That will bring bad leadership again. They will enter into government and wanting to take back their money. So if CBN, AFCC, of course, you know that AFCC is involved in the election now. The military, yes, of course. If all these agencies are also preparing themselves to say, no, we have to help the electoral system, sanitize the electoral system, so that people will go and vote for whom they like. It cost a lot of strength, time, finance, energy to straighten that electoral law. Most of the politicians, what happens is that they never went through the policies. So today is hitting on them again. The change of what they call currency had come in again, and they have to bring back those monies. EFCC is watching. Who brings what? Where did you get it? This is where the issue is. Unfortunately, we are the people suffering it. We are the people suffering it. I am very happy, because This time around, we will see who becomes the president of this country in a clean slate. When I mean clean slate, at least 80% it will happen. Because there was this fear of some politicians, I don't want to mention political parties, but some politicians have really kept money to say, look, there's suffering in the land, so we're going to pack money in the hands of people to ensure that we gain their vote, which is a wrong process, which is a wrong signal for democracy to strive positively in our country. So we thank the CBN to have also come timely with this policy to stop that aspect of financial inducement to bring bad leadership to this country again. So we are fully in support of what the CBN is doing. However, we are praying they shouldn't extend the dates so that the funds will not be scarce. They should evaluate, of course, on the 10th, I'm sure, or on the 9th, I'm sure they will get the evaluation. That is today, I think so. They will get the evaluation, see what are coming, and also see what to put out to circulation.
All right, because you mentioned the fact that there's suffering in the land. Now the Humanitarian Affairs Minister says 48% of Nigerians now live below poverty line. I don't know.
48%.
Yes, I don't know the last time this was done before the headline came out in the papers today. But if you really look at things with this scarcity, people protesting here and there, it's, you know, someone was saying it's a beautiful policy, but it seems like we are not ready as a nation, probably when it comes to the timing. So that's why it seems as though people are sliding into poverty. Would you agree?
I disagree completely.
Okay.
We have a culture in Nigeria. Let me take you back to the time is it still CBN in the NIN time?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. We all know that the NIN policy was very fantastic, and that's why when you travel out, or if you are in the developed countries, immediately they put your NIN number anywhere in the world. You want to go and do admission, all you need to do is to pay your tuition fee, get necessary present documents, but everything about your bio history is captured from the day you were born. So you just fill small form, you just fill your course, this thing, whatever, and they just slot it in. Everything about you they get. But in our country, you fill forms. Go to the bank just to open an account. You fill forms, all requests for your bio data. So the NIM was a fantastic instrument that could be used everywhere. But you saw how lately people reacted to it. So I don't know, are we going to blame the populace for being reluctant
But you know that
to
most
these
of
policies? Sorry, I'm coming.
Okay.
Or are we going to blame the government for not giving full orientation? I was almost faulting CBN in one area. Anything you're doing, and that because we are below belt, Nigeria, we are not really developed. Anything as regards policy that you know that is going to be public oriented, we need more orientation. The orientation would have been rolling.
And in
before
diverse
the policy
languages.
in diverse languages.
Yes.
Make people understand that, please, you need to bring your money to the bank, you need to do this, you need to bring this, preaching to the elites. Even reducing penalties on who brings what, because the fear, the basic fear, while CBN may not have all the monies returned to their coffers, is the fear of the punishment attached to this fund you're bringing. One person will be bringing 3 trillion, 2 trillion, 1 trillion, 1 billion. Where did you acquire it? Because EFCC is also going to be checking as funds are coming in. This is the basic fear. So therefore, INEC will also be ready to relinquish some of these funds outside and help the vast majority of the population in this country to succeed. These are my prayers. So one way, INEC did not just come out, CBN
Yes.
didn't just come out today and say, this is the policy, we're enacting it, we're enforcing it. No, that is not true. They have given long time. But people are not reacting because this is just our nation. We do not react. Go and collect your PVC. People stayed at home, never bothered. And at dying minute, you saw the long pressure on INEC. Go and collect your NIM. People didn't bother. Until dying minutes, people started. So this will also come and go. It's not static. Very soon, it will be a relief. Everybody will begin to get used to not using money at certain quarters. If you are to spend 20,000 naira as cash for a day, you now know that if you're going to the supermarket, you have to hold your card. You don't need to spend money there. If you want to enter keke, you know that you have to owe money. The keke man does not have patience for your transfers. If you're going to pay airline fee, you don't need to use cash. So these are the things they are trying to curtail, and we should, as a citizen, we should help them achieve it, irrespective of the constraint. They said that's saying that there's no pain, no gain.
No pain, no gain.
Yeah.
I like the angle you came from, that we as citizens, we need to adjust. Would you agree with the fact that even banks too, they need to do better? That's coming out of CBN.
Yeah.
Because the banks are under CBN, because there's been cases of people complaining about their bank apps not opening, or some banks not even opening at all. And of course, yesterday we saw some bankers having to scale through the fence because the people, Nigerians were agitated, and of course they were outside and waiting for them to come out to probably lynch on them. So who takes fault for this in particular? Is it the bank or the CBN?
The bank. You see, in our country we have this kind of corrupt tendencies. People, for every situation, try to bring out factors for survival. The banks survive because people have deposited their monies. They are only people's monies. And some of these depositors in banks or clients of the bank are so influential that if they want to pull off their weight from the bank, it may lead to collapse. So the scarce new notes that are even available to them, you're also seeing that those strong clients of the bank will begin to demand for it. I and you were looking for currencies. I can tell you there are some people today and they have it to millions in their stock, and they use it for frivolous things in circulation. And that is because they have great influence in the bank. Their monies are kept. The bankers in the other way around wouldn't want to lose those clients. So you see there's a little imbalance. So they feel instead of bringing this money to 10, 12 of us at the counter that just have, not, if you combine our account numbers, you cannot even have 10 million. To a man that is 10 million is there, they are rolling it all over the places, and he is demanding, wash out, is demanded for 50,000. 50,000 naira is enough to give to 10 people at the counter who do not even have good deposit with them. But 50,000 naira is enough to please that man whose money they are using to survive the bank. I don't know if you understand this imbalance in the system.
Yeah, we do.
So the only way it will still help is a push of fund into the system, which CBN will do any moment from now. If we play these things economically and checkmate it economically, we will have a good discussion and a way out. But if they take it politically, the way the governors are running around the CBN and the presidency, is a no. They know what they are doing, and it will not work. This simple analysis we've made is very simple to analyze. The banks want to survive, but in their survival, they also have scarce funds to disburse. They will not look at priorities. They will not look at who to give and who not to give. So that's why you see the populace suffering it, while the rich men could just sit out at their home. Their drivers just walk into the bank and get these new notes for their use. All
right, we know that CUC has actually given the federal government 7 days ultimatum to find a solution to both scarcity of the Naira and of course fuel scarcity or shortages, so to say. Now at this point, the NNPCL CEO Melekere has spoken. He said fuel will be made available by next week.
Yes.
But it's almost not the first time we hear that there's availability of fuel, but in reality, it's not the way it is on papers. What do you think?
Well, I think I think we don't even have any reason to lack fuel, the supply of fuel in this country. We are paying for subsidy. We are still also paying to buy it. So I think there's absolutely no reason why Nigerians will suffer an hour scarcity.
Sorry to cut you. I just remember that all marketers are also threatening to go on strike.
That's Ipman. Yeah.
Ipman, yeah. Where they've reversed themselves, on the Nigerian pilot, Ipman reverses itself on earlier order of shutting down filling stations. That's as of this morning.
Good.
So how can...
When I started my speech here, I talked about structure.
Okay. Absolutely.
If there are no laid down structures, everybody comes in and does what he or she likes. This is just the breaking link of all these issues. They should stop deceiving themselves. They all know, as we sit down today, so the LNPCL man, Kerry, he knows that next week there will be fuel scarcity. They know before it comes to be. I don't know if you understand. They have the statistics. If there is no going to be light in this studio today, you know before people will know that, the 10 o'clock program didn't play. You know, you resume at 7 o'clock. So 3 to 4 hours, you are aware that there won't be light. So if there is a system working, the system will begin to check out where are the leaks to begin to mesh, so that by 10 o'clock you sit for your program. This is the simple analysis of what is happening. Ipman, the regulators, both the service providers know what they are doing, and once they cannot satisfy their personal benefits, it fires back to supply or the demand for fuel. This is where the issue is. Federal government is being represented by Kerry. The service providers are the Ipmans, all the other bodies, tank owners and the filling station owners and all of that. They all know the problem is the share of the subsidy. Well, once Ipman is not getting it, they want to truncate the system. But once the federal government is not getting, have not paid, or there's a delay, or they want to do one thing or the other, there's a problem. So these are the issues they need to settle. God will bless that soul that will come and put a working system in our country. Working system is when you go, that system still runs. That is why today, if you're handling this program, because it is system means it starts 10 o'clock and ends 11 o'clock. So if you go, the system remains. Yes. The person coming have a template. This program runs 10 to, not because you had gone, somebody had gone, no, I can't sit by 10. Let's adjust it to 10:30. That is no more system.
All right, let's
so until they deliberately agree to ensure that they allow the system work perfectly or near perfection, we will not get these things right.
Let's take this call. Hello, good morning. You're welcome to the press. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning, right?
Sorry, can you be more audible?
Hello, right?
Oops. You need to step away from your TV set.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
we can hear
hear you now.
Okay.
Are you there? I think you may have to give us a call back. Your network seems to be, the line seems to be bad. All right, please go ahead.
So, except they allow the system to run perfectly, not infringing in all they do, personal interest, personal provisions. Look, even if it's going to be personal provisions, these things should be enshrined. One other thing I want to talk about is the legislation should pick up the process of this fuel contract, review it and make it a policy.
Sorry, I'd like you to hold your thoughts.
Okay.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
You're welcome to the press. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yes, joining from Africa.
Okay, please join the conversation.
Okay, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
That call was just a testament to what your place was talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you can see that there's no network. And we are going into cashless.
Policy.
I am of the view that 100% we also have something cashless for now.
Okay.
I support it. But then, the structure that we're supposed to use to carry out this policy are not there, and nobody is working on them. What has NCC done up to now regarding this cry from Nigeria? The bank system done. What has the Ministry of Science and Technology done up till now regarding this policy? You can see that it is not just the CBN issue. I quite agree. But the other agents which are still in the same government, operate from under the same government, what have they been doing? Why have they not been called out to assist in this policy and make sure it works? I think I am of the view that somebody is sabotaging the policy. And if somebody is sabotaging the policy and the government kept quiet about it, government itself is complicit. So the Nigeria side, I also agree with the guests in the house that Nigerians, only God can explain what He used to make us. Because there are so many things that we could have done before. We could have done it. They will like going through the long way. A way that will lead us to either destruction, or we want to go and come back to still join the right way. So we should correct our mentality. I was in bank on Friday to make transactions. As I'm talking to you, up till now, last Friday, up till now, I have not been able to make that transaction. My app is not opening. I cannot do anything. I was able to get in touch with my app at the time. I did the transaction. It showed me error. Only for the person to just tell me yesterday, that was this Sunday. Just yesterday, the person told me that he has received the money. And in my app, it showed error. So how do we go about all of this?
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
For that
Well,
contribution.
you heard him.
Yeah,
More
fantastic.
like there's
Yeah.
no synchronization in all of this.
Yes, that is absolutely correct too, because we are going cashless, meaning that there's going to be pressure on internet use. There's going to be pressure on the NCC, as he has rightly said.
Okay.
So it's true. What are they doing to enhance quick delivery and quick reception of transactions? Is very key. People are going to be on their phones transacting a lot of time. That's the meaning. So if that is going to happen, we need strong provision of this system. What are they doing? EFCC should not excommunicate themselves in all of this. Very soon, people will dive into fraud, financial fraud,
Absolutely.
through that means. So EFCC, watch out now until that begins to occur. The easiest way to take your money is still through this system. So as we sit today, I'm sure someone somewhere is also making research on how to dupe people through this medium. It is already happening when people are not even transacting more on that medium. To talk of when it will be almost everybody else is going to be on deck, transacting through transfers, through the POSs, through, you know.
So sorry to cut you short there. I'm a believer of for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction.
Yes.
That's one of the Newton laws of motion.
Yes.
And then don't you feel before this law was put into place, they should have made preparations for things like this? I mean, if you know you want to go cashless,
Yes.
then there should be full provision to ensure that people have access to networks and even their bank apps to start
There are
with.
networks. There are networks. Like I also told you, you know, I have 2 accounts I'm running.
Okay.
One, on purpose, I don't have anything on it like what do you call withdrawal cards, not even a booklet for it. So, but that is not correct. In a civilized country, you will be issued that. In fact, you need it because you can't come back to that bank to say you need 10 million or 5 million. You have to now do it online. So it's not also completely true that these services are not there. people have not known that they could use these services to do this. People that also know do not know the importance, because they can just walk into the bank, stand on queue, and take 100,000. So what am I buying? Now, people will be aware that they need almost everybody need an Android phone. Almost everybody need an Android phone or your card.
We can still do the USSD.
USSD. Even for some banks now, even the
phone.
USSD isn't.
So not that these things are not there. They are there, but we are not seeing it as an option.
No, I'm not saying we're not seeing it as an option.
Yes.
I'm saying harnessing it, having access to it right now. I'm not saying this thing
you don't provide for what you don't have. You want to build a 2-bedroom flat. You're not going to buy the whole of Abuja. You're going to buy
for
yes, so that you don't waste fund, time, and whatever. So this is what's happening. The more that expansion comes, the service providers will also see that there is need to expand on whatever they need to expand to accommodate that pressure. You know, there was a time we were using a band system to bandwidth here to today now is different. We're having a Wi-Fi, we're having higher brands to connect once it is for that purpose. So this thing expands as we keep on identifying the issues or putting it into practice. So I'm sure, like you rightly said, it's not a problem for the CBN alone. I'm also calling on the FCC to also be prepared, start also putting on strategies that they will be able to cope. Lots of crime will happen through this process. So how are they quickly going to get people apprehended?
All right, let's quickly take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
You're welcome to the press. Please tell us your name.
Victor, I'm calling from Academy State.
Great. Please join the conversation.
Yes, please, the gentleman there, he spoke as if he's working in Central Bank, or maybe he's a brother to the CBN governor. It's like he's talk from what is happening in the country. See, I made a transfer since on Friday. Up to now, I was debited. And up to now, I've not got a refund back. And right here in a case, Academy State. So I just said the banks, none of it was functioning yesterday because there was no cash. And two, the cashless policy, are we just going to invest overnight? You should at least give some time for us to adapt into the program. Not just waking up overnight and just say that Nigeria must go to cashless policy.
Okay.
So it's like in Nigeria. Or maybe we have concern with the Syrian government, which given enough cash to be spending. Because in fact, I just cut off their program because I don't enjoy him. I don't enjoy what he's saying there.
It's
So please, you shouldn't call again.
It's okay. We heard you.
We heard you, sir.
Thanks for your
Thank you.
contribution.
Okay,
Looks like Nigerians are
no. These are no. It's correct. I started by saying that over a month I've not seen cash.
Of course.
Yes, and I'm not here defending the CBN per se, but I'm saying that in as much as they have their own fault, the majority of the fault here now is even on us. And the person's holding, maybe he joined the program halfway.
Yes.
He never heard me when I said all of those things. There are people holding this money. What CBN has literally said is that please bring back these old currencies, not to us. Deposit in your account. They are still your monies, so that we can return. We bring back old currencies. Some people are very ignorant. They don't even know the implication of pumping out new money.
So sorry to cut you short. You said CBN told them to bring the old cash and put it back in the account. You know, that is not the problem. The problem is you take your old cash, put it in your bank account, but you do not have access to that cash back. You know that, right?
You have access to that cash back, but because
you have limits on it.
That is why it's cash
But
policy.
then you have to realize that the average
Not that
Nigerian
you cannot spend it.
Naira.
Not that you cannot spend it.
Okay.
I made an illustration here.
Okay.
You have 50,000 naira. You used to spend 50,000 physical cash.
But now you have to
use it.
Now you have to get 20,000. What it implies is that you do not need to take money to supermarkets.
Yes, you can take
But
your
that's
cards.
for people that I totally understand this point.
Yeah.
But now let's take, for instance, he's calling from Eket in Akwa Ibom.
Of course,
You
I know that very
some
well.
parts in Akwa Ibom that
Yeah.
do not have access to. Everybody has access to POS, yeah?
Yes.
But there's some parts that do not even have access to this. They deal solely on cash.
No,
And
that
then
is-
20,000
that is not
naira is
correct.
little
Yes,
nothing.
that's what the policy is saying.
Yeah.
From henceforth now,
Okay.
learn to go to. There are banks in Eket. There are rural, very deep rural areas
yeah.
in Eket. I know that area. If we are going to take it as a case study, I know that area very well. The policy is not saying don't spend your money.
Okay.
If you used to give a supermarket store, you buy something of 100,000 and you used to count cash, they say do not use your card
to pay
now
part
to
of
pay.
the money.
What it means now is that that supermarket now to go and have an enabler.
Okay, Mr. Duke, because of time, just quickly, I need you to drop this in 60 seconds. They say FG plans new policy to track public spending. Is that supposed to be lawful or unlawful?
Unlawful.
Well, they are not yet. They've not yet come up with it. They are planning it,
Okay.
but those policies should not infringe of fundamental human rights.
Exactly.
That is just what I
Thank
want
you
to say.
very much. Thank you so much, Duke Alamboye. We've been chatting with Duke Alamboye, and he's a policy analyst. And apologies to you, our viewers, those we couldn't take their calls. We seriously and we honestly apologize to you. So we'll come your way again next time. I am Olamide Alhassan.
And I am Messi Babjide. And this is where we come to the end of the press for today. See, same time, same station tomorrow. Bye.